Now, of course, in this slide I want to make another point. Try to answer the question why big companies fail. Okay, because after a while they're just left behind. They fail. Well, that was a big question until Clayton Christensen managed to find the answer and generated a theory out of it. So what happens is that the market has some limits. Okay, people there that are wanting products and services, they have a limit of highest standards that they would like to have and the lowest standards they would like to have. Now the thing is that what technologies can do in the products don't correspond exactly to that. So what happens is that a company that had success on the market just managed to be within the limits of what people want, within acceptable prices. They tend to improve, permanently improve their products and services and become so good, they actually become too good compared to what people need and want. So, and of course, becoming better and better products and services, they also become more expensive and so on. But they also go out of the horizon of what people want. So, you see, what happens is that out of the interaction between technologies and customers, people wanting those goods and services, some new technologies appear which manage to create something at a much cheaper price. So something that previously was expensive and kind of luxury product or service now becomes available. And I guess the best example, one of the best examples, is the personal computer, the PC, the laptop. Everybody has one, or the iPhone. So that creates technological disruption. And this leaves a bit the big companies, the big technologies in the offside. To summarize, some companies that become too good at a point they are not fit for what people want, because what people want also evolve. So they are left behind. They are like, okay, they become very fit, very good for the world of yesterday. So the world changed. The people now look for new things, cheaper things. That is a bit the process. In the next slide, I just highlight this point and show how the incumbent or dominant market leader goes outside the limits of performance demanded by the market, and how a disruptive innovation enters the market. Of course, this new innovation has basically the same fate. It's just a matter of time until they will go out of the market and will be disrupted by other innovations. Okay, in the next slide, what I want to remind you is the trajectory or the lifespan of technology, the stages of a technology, from radical innovation to exploratory improvements to an explosion, and then to its maturity on the market. There is this period of acceleration of improvements which corresponds to the period of fit on the market, and then after that it's less relevant. But to make the point more understood, I show here in the next slide how trajectories of individual technologies cross. Basically, what you saw 2 slides ago, it's represented here in these S-shape curves, and you see the point where a new technology overtakes an old technology, becoming the point where it's becoming better. Like the old technology is like maturing, reaching its limits, and the new one is still accelerating. So when you basically, and here's the next slide, in time what happens when you have a new technology replacing the older technology, you have a succession of technological revolutions, which can be also represented as a succession of S-curves like I'm showing here. that table with which we started of technological revolution periods can be represented graphically as stages and points of replacement of technologies with another technology at different moments in the process of development. Now, enough with the theory. In the next slide, what I want to show is, okay, what seem to be the technologies that are emerging and might be the dominant technologies of tomorrow. What would be the technologies that will define this new age that we are starting now? Well, I selected for you some of the technology trends made and which are available, and I think the best one, doesn't matter if I'm right or wrong, but for sure one of the best ones is the ranking made by MIT, and they do this annually. They select a top of 10 breakthrough technologies, and what you can see here in the red square there is that most of those are related to either ICT, information communication technologies, or biotechnologies, things like that. And this kind of confirms what most people think would dominate in the next era, ICT and biotechnologies. And here I show a bit more details. Well, it's about nano technologies, automated communication between machines, car-to-car communication, supercharged photosynthesis, so for food production, biopsies related to medical sciences, desalinization, Apple Pay things, on internet, brain organoids, and Internet of DNA. I think I like the most this Internet of DNA. Basically what means is that you can now map the genome, so the pool of genes of any species. For the humans is already done, but for other species already started. And you can have databases which can then be used and communicated through internet, so that new solutions are found based on genetic engineering for health issues, but also environmental issues. That's very interesting how biology and internet combine. Here I'm showing you just examples of the years from before. Here is 2013. If you go through that, you see things like smartwatches, memory implants, supergrids, additive manufacturing, that's the 3D printing, prenatal DNA sequencing, things like that, and social media. The previous years, the same thing. If you go, I will let you look through all these slides. So this is the year before. You will see that is mostly related to internet, 3D, so different type of manufacturing, health, energy, environment. By the way, he's also selected crowdfunding, which we mentioned, Facebook, things like that. And the new one, cloud, machine-human interfaces, social indexing, and you will see different stuff related to internet. And here, lastly, another type of ranking, a second one that I selected, is the Gartner's top 10 strategic technologies trends for 2015. And they made 3 categories here. One is merging the real world and the virtual world. Not really surprising. Internet of Things, computing everywhere, and 3D printing. So instead of shipping products across seas in big ships, you just send the code via internet, and then it's manufactured locally through 3D printing with more, this is the case with more and more products. And then intelligence everywhere, like smart machines, different systems related to analytics, and then new IT reality, as they call it, cloud computing, software applications, web scale, risks and security, that's a big trend. And it's related to blockchain very much on internet. So these are just examples that I propose to you. You can check for yourself on the links, and we can discuss. So with all these examples, the question is, what will the world look like a bit in terms of predominant technologies, and having in mind what happened in the past so far. We have to combine those two aspects, the past and the future, in order to understand the patterns that we need to work with. So that's all. I don't have supplementary recommended readings other than the links that I already provided in the previous slide, so check those. So that's the end of this lesson. Thank you.